Welcome back once again. For those who've just joined us, welcome to the channel. My name is Amuna, and all kind of stuff when you tune in over here at Solonomics. You get all kind of things. I know you'll be like, man, she be having like different thoughts. It really does, because that's how my mind works. One minute I'm thinking about cooking, the next minute, I'm deep in some study. Next minute I'm doing my biblical studies. So that's kind of how it goes. I wanted to follow up on yesterday's discussion. So giving thanks for another day of life, huh? I wanted to follow up on yesterday's discussion on my drive in here, because I wanted to talk about the spirit of leaders and the spiritually transmitted diseases that are two different voices and different energies at different times. And if we are familiar with the spiritual realm a little bit, it works through the air and it works through the earth objects, where spirits can transfer from people to things, or from people to people. So even looking, and again, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever is a medium which transfers energy or information from one side of the screen to the other. Why is this important? Because if we have a compromised, I've talked about this before, if we have a compromised immune system, spiritual immune system, and you guys know by now I love parallels, because it helps to simplify things that people be like, oh, it's so deep and it's so complicated that I'm gonna have to do all of this for you to understand. If you can't break it down, then there's a probability that you don't understand. There's a difference between repeating what we've heard, summarizing what we've heard, or being able to take a concept or a principle and explain it in a way that people can understand it. Even the youngest of children can understand it. So I find that analogies do that for me. Good morning. Because you get to see the similarities or the parallels with something, and then it helps to grasp that, your mind to grasp that concept. So the simplicity of it is that when we touch things physically with our hands, that's why you got to be careful what you touch too, and who you touch, because energy, or these spirits, or the spirits that attach to people, like hitchhiker spirits, can be transferred from them to you, just in an embrace. That's why in some cultures, among other things, you don't see them having physical contact or just hugging anyone they don't know, or shaking hands with people they don't know, because you can be taking onto yourself that energy that they're storing. So basically, if they're using their hands for evil and iniquity and wickedness, the hand is a by which you are transferring. That's why you use your hand to transfer, to give, and to take. You know what I mean? So you don't just only give and take physical things. I have had in times past where I have shaken somebody's hand, and sometimes, especially in this day and time, I'll be extra hesitant. And people, over here, it's like, oh, it's rude if you don't shake people's hands. But it's somebody who I've seen before, but I don't remember shaking their hand. But this time, I think I did something. I did like a poem. I did like a open mic or something I was doing. So there was a number of people like stopping and talking to me. And I shook this person's hand. I promise you, the moment I shook the person's hand, like I felt this like energy permeating my hand in a negative way. And I took my hand back, and I'm like, what in the world are you into? I mean, what are you using your hands to do? What are you into? And if you are, some people are hypersensitive to energetic shifts. Some people don't know this. They happen to be like sensitive to, goings and comings and things. And I'll never forget that. Like, I even like 30 minutes later, I'm feeling like energy has been, sucked from my hand. I say that to say this is how things are transferred. And in the same way people have, awareness in the physical realm for actual diseases. This whole conversation about vaccines, this whole conversation about infectious diseases, the spiritual, and but yet still we only leave it in the realm of religion, or Sunday church, or at the synagogue, where people have to subscribe to the entire kit and caboodle in order to get certain understandings about their everyday going and comings. It's not as prevalent in society to explain spiritually transmitted diseases and how it can hinder your life. For instance, marketing campaigns, TV marketing, and all of this print marketing is a spirit. They're looking to transfer onto the consumer a spirit of lust, a spirit of desire. So they tinkle, tinkle the little bell in front of you. You know what I mean? Because they want to convey to you or excite within you this lust. So they show you something that's lustful, or they show you something that's whatever. So it happens every day, and it's used against us, you people, because we're not being educated on what it is and how we need to be aware, so that we are making a choice because we're making the choice, not because we're being programmed to make the choice. So it is when you sit amongst an angry person. The wisdom sayings in the Bible tell you, don't keep company with an angry person. And then it goes on to tell you why. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you're going to catch that anger. You are going to come and eventually be like onto that person. If you get around, especially if you're easily influenced. If you're someone who doesn't yet know themselves, or doesn't yet have a sense of self, or struggle with being firm in your convictions, and you're easily swayed, then people with stronger spirits are going to basically invade your spaces, and then you're going to begin to adapt their personality and the way they move and the way they talk, sometimes unknowingly. Even in little children, they may go around somebody, and if you listen closely, the person with the more dominant spin, the little child might come back speaking, and you're like, why are you talking like that? You know what I mean? You were talking like that like 5 minutes ago. Like, why are you talking like that now? And sometimes it's a subconscious thing that we gravitate to what appears to be powerful, and we gravitate toward these things, and then we want to emulate these things. You know what I mean? When the child is dressing up like the mother or the father, it's because they revere the mother or the father. The mother or father has a certain standing in their mind, and so therefore they want to emulate. That's part of the human way in which we work as people. And it's not all the way bad unless we're emulating what others have now said is powerful. That really isn't powerful. So they did the whole switcheroo. So back to the spiritual transmitted diseases. Certain things and energies live in this realm. And certain things make your defenses lowered. So for instance, covetousness, coveting, and envy. These things lower your spiritual defenses and allow for certain thoughts to come in. And because if you're covetous, which is, by the way, the 10th commandment, right? So if you're covetous and you want that which is not yours and that which you have no right to, your mind begins to make a way, like water trying to find its way through, to say, how am I going to get this thing? What boundary am I going to transgress to get this thing? Because I must have it. So now the fire has been kindled. They conveyed this thought of lust and this thought of whatever it is within you. Because you remember, you're already battling your own issues. But now it's dangled in front of you and said, hey, this is something that you can have. This is something that you must have. And the mind begins going in to find a way. So if you now keep company with a covetous person, or if you have a leader who's a covetous person or envious person, then it's actually feeding that covetousness and envy within you. And then you end up in worse sometimes position than the person who you're following. So it is if you have an angry person. Hey, Shalom, good morning. Good morning, speaking real. So it is if you have an angry person. Some YouTube videos I know not to click on, especially at certain times of the day, because the 9 times out of 10, them jokers don't have no different speeds. It's only going to be 100. You know what I'm saying? It like 0 to 100, like quick. Like there's no in between. Are you like always angry at every minute of the day? If you are, then the chances are you may not need to be broadcasting that spirit into the atmosphere, because you're feeding other people's need to be angry and upset and complain about every single thing that you can possibly be angry, complaining, and upset about. There's no balance. That means that person, that leader, that person who's positioning themselves have not done their own internal work. And they're looking for people to fuel that fire to say, yes, have you seen this? Oh, I have people in my DM and they send me all these reports because they don't like to be angry, and I like to infect everybody else with my anger. So, so they keep feeding the fire, and then it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. And then when you click off from them, you're like, man, I feel whatever it is that I feel. It's the same, it works on the positive side, where if you're listening to inspirational videos or people who say they get off, or you read inspirational articles and you're infused with this spirit of, yeah, I can do it, then you have a totally different outlook on life. So it works both ways. This spiritually transmitted, but we're talking about the disease in this case because that is what is being transmitted. The toxicity, the talking points, the unresolved issues that leader, that person who's a good narrator, orator, that person, if you look and you sit back from the landscape, and you will see what the people are struggling with. You know what I'm saying? Because people are going to gravitate to what is vibrating with where they are. So just because you may see a whole lot of numbers, it may be because we like to be entertained. That's another thing. We like inviting. If we look at the root word for entertainment, right? You like to invite spirits to entertain you, to amuse you. So this is what happens when you go to the movies or when you listen to music. You become amused. Right? That's where amusement part comes from, and the word amuse. All of these things have an etymological root, and when you look at the root, you begin to understand what we're opening up to ourselves to, and why is it that we still stay at a certain level as a collective, because we think it's just for fun. Oh, I'm bored, so I'm going to go do this, that, and that, right? I'm going to go watch this new movie and let all of this energy to my spirit, and then I'm going to go listen to this song and let more. And it's like just a constant flood washing over the soul. The soul doesn't have a thing, understand? So all I'm saying is, just the same way that people have campaigns and let you know, hey, be careful of syphilis, and be careful of gonorrhea, and be careful of HIV, and be careful of HPV and all this stuff like this. Be careful of spiritually transmitted diseases. Be careful of people who not, and it's obvious that they have not done any work in the areas that they actually need to do the work in. And so they do the little, hey, look over here, you know what I'm saying? And kind of pull your attention over here to the corner and make you think that this is all that really matters. We are holistic beings. If somebody tells you the only thing that matters is the food you eat, they're lying. If somebody tells you only thing that matters is economy or economics, they're lying. If somebody tells you you see what I'm saying? Because we are holistic beings. And what happens when you present yourself to the public is that once the public casts you as a certain thing, this finance person or this healing person or this medical doctor, once they put you in that box, like human beings are kind of unforgiving. Like, to them now, you become this caricature. You become this 2D, not even a person. So you become this thing now to them. This is how idols are made. Okay? This is why we also have to be careful, because idolatry comes in with this spiritual transmitted disease thought, because it's transmitting this disease that this thing that this person has, I'm going to elevate it all the way up, and then I'm going to make it a thing that I can have and I can hold and I can examine and I can put down when I'm ready and walk away. And that's a person. That's a person. That's a person who has like a whole life. You know what I mean? And then if they're talking about something else or they're doing something else, we're like, what are they doing that? I didn't know that they existed. You know what I mean? And I don't know, that's like a mind. I've been meditating on that for years. Like, what is that in the mind that wants to objectify people to things? And I think it has to do with control. Because when I make the person a thing, in my mind, then I can control them. But if I give them the humanity, y'all see I'm back out my spot again because I got to run in there and get something right quick. Oh. What are you guys doing here so early in the morning? Like, do you ever just roll up at the store and be like, what are you guys doing here so early? Okay. I'm going to read the comments, then I'm going to run inside. Huh? Yeah, it feels warm today. Hold on. We have to guard our eyes and ears. Watching too many negative things can vex your soul. Yeah. And misinformation. And like I said, spirit of covetousness, the spirit of envy, the spirit of backbiting, this gossipy spirit. All of those things can be channeled. Oh, did you hear? And da-da-da-da-da. The spirit of gossip is all over the tube. You know what I mean? It's all over. Like, those are the people who get the most hits. Like, watching other people's lives, that to the degree where every little thing they do is news. I'm like, how? And the reason why is how. Sorry. The reason why is because these people have been made idols. They tell you in this culture. The people who you're watching has been made celebrities, demigods. Okay? So what we're watching is what idolatry looks like in 2019, 2020. So usually when people in ancient times, in antiquity, they would have a shrine or they would have a temple, and they would go and pay homage to these deities, and they would give the deity their energy, right? They would give them their resources. They would give them offerings. They would give them sacrifices. In return, the thought that is the association with this deity will in some way improve your life, improve your standing. Fast forward. Today, the media has made celebrity into these demigods. This is why when you see the person meeting Michael Jackson and they're falling all over the floor and they're fainting, or, oh my goodness, it's a celebrity, I don't even want to approach them, because the thought is that they're elevated in your mind. Malaya. Tagoya. They're elevated in your thoughts. They're elevated in your consciousness. So they have become a deity in your mind. Because look, you can't, in many spaces, be a celebrity. Usually the celebrity goes up on a high place, which is called a stage, right? They're elevated. Usually you're looking up at them. If you're at a concert, if you're at a play, they're on the stage and the platform so that you can see them. But if they were on the same level as you, psychologically, and therefore not only are they elevated on the stage physically, they become elevated in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And so now they're superhuman. They're not human like you. They're not an everyday person like you. They have not just more money or more status. They have been celebrated. That's what they call a celebrity. What does the word celebrity mean? Something that is celebrated. That means that all of the people who are watching and looking on has, like, you know, remember the Care Bears? You don't remember no Care Bears, child.
You watched it before.
She's talking about I do. Like, Care Bears is old school.
When we watched the movie.
Well, you know, this person has this, and then they shoot it onto this one, whatever it is, right? And so that's what the people are doing. They're taking their attention, because this is why people want you to pay attention. So you're taking your attention, which is a currency, which is an energy, and you're projecting it onto this object. In this case, it's not a physical, it's not just an object, it's a person. And that person becomes powerful because of the collective channeling their energy to them. So they're being, like, energetically lifted up as well. You see what I'm saying? It's the power of this collective thought. And so now, why not only YouTubers, but gossip places, TMZ and all this stuff, why they get the attention of all of the people is because the people have already elevated these other people as idols in their mind. And who doesn't want to hear about what's going on with your idol? You know what I'm saying? Doesn't want, you know, it's just like in events that happen with these different idols, and it's being used as a means of entertainment, being used as a means of transmitting information, right? And so some of the stuff that come up, I'll be like, that's some of the dumbest stuff I ever heard. It's some of the craziest stuff I ever heard. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And it distracts us. I gotta run inside, y'all. It distracts us from our reality. That's another reason why we like to be entertained. If I'm entertaining and I'm constantly entertaining you, a baby constantly needs to be engaged, right? A baby, for the most part, unless you got a chill baby and they don't, but babies need to be engaged. They need to be stimulated. Now, if you're an adult and you need to constantly be stimulated or constantly be shown where you should go and this and that and how you should think, there means that there's some development that needs to continue to happen in the mind. You understand what I'm saying? But they have us on the bottle. Hey, constantly engage them, constantly entertain them. I need you to make me laugh. I need you to make me happy. I need you to make me feel whatever it is the person is looking for the people to make them feel. Good morning. Yeah, so that's my point. And I'm a run. Be careful of spiritually transmitted diseases. Sometimes you need to step back and look at ourselves and be like, what am I? What am I subscribing to? Not just here. I will subscribe to my channel. And that's why I don't subscribe to every channel, because I'll be like, but what? I want to see what I'm subscribing to. But it's not just about numbers. I have such and such and such. What am I subscribing to? What am I signing on for? What am I co-signing with? What am I opening up, and who am I opening up my spirit to? Some of these people have spirits behind them. Understand this, because you don't know what some people have been dibbling and dabbling in. And some of these people who seem charismatic and who seem to be drawing the crowd have other spirits behind them that is like using them to feed some people. As soon as I look in their eyes, I'll be like, click off. Now I'm good. Whatever you got to say, I'm all the way good. Understand this. We have to level up on our level of discernment. Because just because the person could make you feel something doesn't mean that what they made you feel was a good thing, or that you need to continue to feed. Like, certain things feed certain things. Sugar feeds cancer. Just because somebody's feeding you something that feels good doesn't mean that it's good for you. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, everybody, absolutely, the eyes are the window to soul. Oh yeah, speaking real, I'll be like, ooh, nah, I'm good. Because especially when doing the healing work and, doing research and, people have different bits and pieces. But I've had times where I'd be like, whatever piece you got, go ahead and keep that. Because I'm good. I'm ready to this story, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody have a blessed day. Enjoy the day. And, you know what I'm saying? Make a goal, set it, then crush it. And then make another goal. And then set it and crush it. And, until you get to where you're going. All right, then. Everybody bless.